Naughty or Nice was released in 2004. This is directed by Eric Laneuville, written by Jim Burnstein and Garrett K. Schiff, and it stars George Lopez as Henry. And Henry is a radio broadcaster, a sports broadcaster. And he's not very pleasant with his speech. He's quite abrasive. And then a teenager decides to challenge him to be nice for a day. And well, there are some interesting turns of events as a result of that. I say interesting. I guess I'd say maybe 20 minutes in the second half were okay, but honestly, it was very, very slow. The actual events of the narrative are really boring, and I didn't think this was an interesting story at all. They try occasionally to make it quite emotional, and yeah, that does come through a little bit, but not enough to save the film. I found it to be an interesting concept, definitely, but unfortunately the execution was very, very dull. It's not bad in the sense that I don't believe the narrative or that the situations are unrealistic. It is simply very boring, very dull, and very slow. The pacing is pretty terrible, actually. And with regards to the characters, Henry's not necessarily a likable protagonist. That obviously starts to change a little bit as he goes through some character development, but I never really liked him at all, but it definitely wasn't completely disliking him all of the way throughout. And then with regards to the Christmas aspect, it's not a particularly festive film either. I don't mind that too much as the narrative itself isn't that festive. I think it tries to be a little bit uplifting, but I just don't think it works very well. Maybe if the pacing had been better, and maybe if the actual activities in the film had been a bit more interesting, if the action had been a bit more fascinating, it might have been okay, it might have worked, but unfortunately, I didn't think it was very well done. Naughty or Nice is an interesting premise. The performances are fine, camera work's fine, music, lighting, fine, but as a story, as a piece of entertainment, I didn't get a lot out of this at all.